Listen, Deontay mama said, stop the bus right now. She don't want to hear it. What's up, y'all? It's your girl P Hope, and we are back again for another review / recap of Love After Lockup. Lord have mercy, they are taking me through it, y'all. This was not, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, this was not a very exciting episode. So, you know, I think that there is, you know, it's gonna be still be the same amount of time, but it just wasn't a whole lot going on. But I'm gonna give y'all whatever there was to be gave. So let's get on right into it. I hope everybody had a fabulous week. You know, my week was very hot. Like, I'm down here in Georgia, y'all, and the 90s have been killing us. I was complaining the week before because we were having so much rain, and then last week we didn't get no rain, and now I see like the drastic difference between, you know, the rain cooling things off and then this humidity just chilling around here like a woman scorn. Like, okay, it was just too much for me. And then I had all this hair on my head, and I'm gonna talk about this hair at the end of this video. But right about now, let's get right on into the mess. I want to start off with talking about Anissa and Jeff because of the simple fact that, you know, Jeff is a little sketchy. Jeff is sketchy for me. So I just want to go ahead and get them out the way because Annisa is back at this dang on halfway house, and you know, it's time for him to actually be released. Jeff gets to come home today, and I'm like, oh Lord, he gets to come home. Have he already done called a bus back to Albuquerque, or what's going on? Or is he really gonna, you know, come out and get in a car with Annisa? But to my surprise and Anissa's surprise, he did right. He came out, he acted like he was very happy to see her. They hugged, they kissed, they got in the car, and they headed their ass on home. When they got there and they pulled up, they get in the house, Jeff is like, wow, you know, this is yours? Like, this you right here? And she was like, yeah. So he was very excited at the fact that her trailer was fully furnished. The refrigerator was fully stocked in his eyes. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see no whole bunch in there. I wasn't judging Anissa's refrigerator because she lives alone. So, you know what I'm saying? It's not like my house when I, you know, it's me, the kids, my man, all this other kind of stuff. Like, you know, I wasn't expecting her refrigerator to be loaded, but in the eyes of Jeff, you know what I'm saying, it was definitely good enough for him. He was like, I can get anything up out of here. And she was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying, do you? Well, if you want me to cook butt naked in some church heels, I got you. So, yeah, they got that out the way. And then after he took a tour of the trailer, he had to sit down on the couch in the living room and power up his ankle monitor, okay, because it was on red and he needs for that hole to be in the green, okay. So he immediately charged it up and sat down on the sofa, and he was ready to make small talk. And Annisa was like, do you have to be doing that right now? Like, does that have to be like plugged up, you know, on your leg right at this very moment? And he was like, well, you know, I have to charge it for 1 hour twice a day. So, you know, I figure I might as well just go ahead and get that out the way. And she was like, oh, well, you know, if we could just kind of put that on pause for a second. I was trying to show you what that bed do. And he was like, oh, well, you know what I'm saying? You could have been said that because, you know, I'm ready to show you what this peen do. So they go back in the bedroom and they immediately start handling business. And then at that moment, it was time for us to head on out because we didn't want to see it and they didn't want us to see it. So it worked out well for everybody. It definitely worked out well for everyone involved. They handled business, and then it's cut scene to the next morning. Now, I forgot who offered who a round two, but either way it went, that wasn't about to happen because production had made it back to Anissa's house and they're not ready to start a OnlyFans. So they opted to cooking breakfast instead. You know what I'm saying? Anissa was very much getting her Jasmine Sullivan on, and it was her making pancakes in the morning, even though she really felt like, you know what I'm saying, she had done really just slid that thing up on him. Okay, she felt like she had handled her business. And you know, I'm not even gonna cap, she must have did, you know what I'm saying, do a little something, because when Jeff went in his confessional, he was like, you know, I'm not one for putting nobody's business out there, but I will just say that Anissa is not shy with anything when it comes to being in the bedroom. And I said, for what? You ain't supposed to be. So anyway, Anissa done finally, you know what I'm saying, got the breakfast all cooked and ready to go. So they decide to go outside in the backyard to eat. So they get seated back there at the table and they start making small talk, and they look across the yard and Cal is pooching his little chunky self across the grass. Okay, so Cal comes and inserts himself at the table. I said, rude. How you know we not caking over here? Rude. But anyway, he came. I guess he probably saw the WeTV cars outside in the front yard, so he figured they ain't doing nothing but a scene, so you know, I can go get my 5 minutes of fame at this moment. You know what I'm saying? They ain't doing too damn much. So he comes, he sits down, and Anissa was like, well, yeah, we was just having breakfast, but you know, since you done sat down, like, can I offer you a plate? And he was like, sure, you know, I'll take me some breakfast too. So when Anissa goes in to make Cal plate, Cal wants to have a conversation with Jeff, and he basically just lets Jeff know, like, you know, I'm gonna keep it a stack with you. I have been incarcerated myself, and I know how it is when you're in there. I know you have to use whatever means you have to survive. So with Anissa being my real friend and with her being such a sweet person and such a giving person, I'm really just trying to make sure that you're here for the right reasons, because I do know you and Anissa's history, and I just don't want you running my friend over and pretty much taking her for everything that she has. And Jeff said, you know what, you know, that definitely was the case in the past. Like, I was way more in love with my drug addiction than I was in love with Anissa, and I can admit that. But now that I have gotten my addiction a little more under control, mind y'all, he said a little more under control. He did not say that it's under control. He did not say he ain't even thinking about that no more. He just said a little more under control. Now that he has that a little more under control, you know, he does realize that he does love Anissa, and he is in the business of trying to make this thing really work out with her and see where things are gonna go, and he's not using her at this very moment. Now, I don't know how true that is because of two things. When he first came and sat outside before Cal or Anissa got out there, he let us know that he's still talking to his first love. His first love. Oh, baby. Anyway, he's still talking to his first love. You know, we'll just have to see what's going on, because it's giving me user vibes. Jeff is definitely giving me user vibes, but for right now, I'm going to continue to take him at his word, even though he is still in communication with other women. That's cheating, Jeff, in case you didn't know. Because if you're not talking to this other woman about helping you get a job, you know, what can you do to, you know, while you don't have a job, how can you be more helpful around the house with your woman? Like, if you're not having those type of conversations, then you're cheating. Like, bottom line. So, you know what I'm saying? You're not doing right by Annisa. And so that was the first thing that threw me off. And then the second thing was the fact that he says he has a secret that Annisa doesn't have any idea about, but he wants to share this secret with Kyle. Now, he's already had the conversation with Kyle, and Kyle, you know, Kyle has already told him that, you know, look, I don't want you around here playing my friend. So I don't have any idea what this secret could be. But, you know, the last thing that Jeff also wanted us to know in his confessional was that Annisa keeps talking about this whole wedding thing, this marriage situation, and the fact of the matter is Annisa is way more excited about, you know, the idea of being married than he is. You know what I'm saying? So if he does go through with it, it's just to appease her, because he has no interest in wanting to be married, or maybe he just has no interest in wanting to be married to Annisa. But either way, he's not jumping over the moon about it, okay? Because when they were riding from the halfway house to her home, he had already let her know that in order for them to even be married, it has to be approved by, I don't know if he said his PO or somebody higher up in the prison system. I'm not sure who he said, but anyway, it has to be legalized before it can even be legalized again. But anyway, that was this week with Annisa and Jeff. Okay, y'all, let's move on to Brittany and Ray. Lord have mercy. Y'all remember we left off last week with with Brittany and Grandma Ray in the parking lot waiting on him to bring his ass out. And Brittany is in a panic because at this point she don't know which one of them he's gonna end up leaving with. So he finally comes out of the halfway house, and Brittany's thirsty ass decides that she's not gonna wait on him to come all the way over there. She met him halfway in the parking lot, and she's hugging and kissing all over him, and he's giving these awkward ass kisses back to her. And then he kind of, you know, side eyes and realizes that that's grandma over there. You know what I'm saying? That's my grandma. So I don't know if the odd kissing was coming from, you know, maybe he didn't want to be doing all of that in front of the cameras. Maybe he didn't want to be doing all of that in front of grandma. I really don't know what it was, but the scene was giving, you know, I really love my man, but I'm not really sure if my man loved me. That's what that kissing scene was giving. But anyway, when he, like I said, he realized grandma was over there, so he went over to grandma. He gave her a big old hug, and she was like, you know, I was just coming to get my grandbaby. I'm coming to check on my grandbaby. I wanted to see you. I wanted to talk to you. But you know what I'm saying? I see that, you know, y'all need some alone time, so I'm definitely willing to give you that. And so Brittany was like, well, you know, with that being said, which one of us is you leaving with? And he was like, I'm leaving with you, of course. Like, bitch, this is where I done paroled out at, so why would I be going somewhere with grandma? Like, I don't know. Brittany was just really, Brittany is really thirsty, y'all. Brittany needs more than high quality H2O, because the thirst with her is really real. And I hope that they have captured whatever it is about Brittany that makes her the way that she is, because she already had us looking at her crazy last week when she was talking about, you know, who wouldn't want their man to be on lockdown in the house with them. Me. Let me tell you something. When you are cooped up under your person 24 hours a day, it is nothing but cause for drama, cause for disconnect, because it does not give you the opportunity to miss your person. It doesn't give either one of you all the opportunity to have new conversation and new content to talk about on a fresh daily basis. If you're getting out the house, you get to come home and say what you did for the day. If he's getting out the house, he gets to come home and say what he saw today or what he's thinking about doing. Something he saw might have sparked a brand new idea in his head that can bring thousands to millions of dollars into the household. But if you want him stuck up under your ass all day, he doesn't know nothing but them four walls, just like he knew when he was in jail. So I'm a little bit confused as to why Brittany wants her man to be connected ball and chain to her front door. Like, I don't understand that. But I hope that before this season is out, we get to dig a little bit more into that, because Brittany, I'm not here for you and your antics with that. Like, I don't know what has happened to you besides that last abusive relationship that went wrong. I don't know what all, you know, trauma that did to you, but you needing a man to be trapped in the house with you 24 hours a day, that's the wrong road, sis. And I'm gonna just tell you that right now, wrong road. So anyway, y'all, Brittany and Ray finally pull up to the house, and I guess that this is just Ray's natural personality that we're getting from him. I really don't feel like at this point it's got nothing to do with the cameras. I think that Ray is just naturally one of those super duper calm people, and you're not gonna get a whole bunch of emotion out of them. Because, and y'all, my mama has a word, and she has a saying for people like this. She calls them one speed. So Ray would be considered a one speed personality type of guy, okay? Because when he pulled up to the house, y'all, Brittany was on 10. Brittany was like, you see your house, babe? You see our place? Do you see this is all for you? Like, this is where you're gonna be. And so, you know, she's all super duper excited, and he was just like, yeah, all right, okay, so this the house, all right. So he gets in the house, and then he's like, oh man, it's okay, it's nice in here, this is nice. He goes in the bedroom, and he was like, he got a little bit excited about the bed. He was like, he felt the comfort of the bed. He was like, okay, you know, it's soft, it's big, you know what I'm saying? It's way bigger than what I've been sleeping on for the last couple years or whatever. All right, this cool. So, y'all, listen. It is going to take a miracle to get Ray off of this one speed. Like, you would have to really do something extravagant to see Ray's happy face. Like, oh my God. Like, we're never going to get that out of Ray. Maybe when the cameras go off, I feel like maybe the more passionate side, the more touchy side of Ray, maybe Brittany might get some of that, but I still don't feel like it's gonna be some of that, come here girl, let me show you how much I really done missed you. Like, I don't feel like Brittany's ever gonna get that, because Ray is just a one speed type of guy. You know, at this point, Brittany is kind of looking crazy, because like I said, she's on 10 and she's excited that her man is finally trapped in this house, locked in this house. Like, if she could, she'll put him in the closet. That would be Brittany, okay? But, you know, she is noticing like this one speed vibe from him. So she's like, you know, I'm not really sure what's going on with Ray. You know, is his head somewhere else? Is he not attracted to me? Like, what's going on? Because I figured that it would be a whole lot more touching, grabbing, and loving going on, and it's really not. So they're both sitting on the bed. He on one end of the bed and she's on the other, and he's like, you know, this is cool, it's cute or whatever, but can we go in the kitchen because I'm hungry? So they make their way into the kitchen. She makes him some breakfast, and it's some strawberries on the side. Now, mind you, while she's cooking breakfast or whatever, I guess he did a confessional, and he said that, you know, he is definitely physically attracted to Brittany. He did let us know that, but he said that it has been 3.5 years since he has, you know what I'm saying, been intimate with a woman. So I guess he's just really, that confidence level has not built up in him yet. Maybe he needs him a good a good long shower, a pep talk with himself to let him know that, listen, she already thinks you are mandingo. She already thinks that you have this, you know what I'm saying, monstrous weapon of destruction in your pants. So all you gotta do is go in there and break her back in. That's all you gotta do. Like, he needs to have that pep talk with himself, because that's where the disconnect is coming in at. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if this is gonna be a situation where Ray has shortcomings, but I'm thinking not, because y'all remember Brittany said that, you know, they would have web sex all the time, and that she would plug up her ring light and bring that thing closed caption so that he can really see what that monkey do. So if she was giving him that kind of a show, I'm pretty sure that he has exposed himself a time or two to her. Like, girl, I hope that you're not about to get up under them covers and have a surprise waiting on you. I hope not. I'm praying for you, girl. Anyway, they eat the breakfast. The strawberries are still on the side. And so when he finished his food, he was like, how about we bring these strawberries into the bedroom with us so that you can finish feeding me? And that was about as flirty and as sexual as Ray is going to give us at this particular moment. But Brittany caught his draft, you know what I'm saying? She got his drift, and she was like, oh, you know, I thought you never asked. So Brittany, Ray, and the strawberries make their way to the bedroom. They shut us out, and again, I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to see it. It's very few couples. I don't know if there's any couples that I've actually been interested in seeing. Now, I take that back. I may could watch Doug and Rachel. They look like they could be a little entertaining. I can watch Doug and Rachel. Who else would I be here for? I could even do y'all, I can't think of nobody's names from the last season. But anyway, the white girl and the black boy that was from Compton. I can't think of their names, but anyway, them about the only two couples that I can really think that, you know what I'm saying, if I ran across them on a porn site, that I would actually stop and look at it. I would stop and look at it. I can't really think of nobody else. But anyway, that was Ray and Brittany for this week. Whoo, y'all. Stan and Lisa. Stan and Lisa. They are still at it, y'all. They are back at this daggone restaurant. And, you know, they're still at the restaurant. Stan is gazing in her eyes because he's ready to take her back to the house and be 50 shades of weird with her. But she's still sitting there looking like she's that girl. But she's got 3 different blends of hair in her head. And it is really disturbing the fuck out of me and my homegirls. She got body wave, crinkle crunch, you know what I'm saying, and bone straight. They're headed up out of the restaurant, and as they're on the way home, you know, Stan is just pretty much talking about how he's just ready to get home, get everything out on the table, cuddle up a little bit, and basically ready to have sex is what Stan wants to do. But he's not coming right out and saying that because he don't want to put his foot in his mouth any further. But Lisa already know what time it is. She like, look, I know this fool want to go home and, you know what I'm saying, mud and slut me out. But that's not what I'm not really feeling that right now. My juices are not really flowing for that right now because we got some things that we still need to talk about. So as they're driving, well, as Stan is driving, Lisa said, look, I know that you're ready to take me home and start this quote-unquote new life for me. But the thing about the thing is, I'm still not over what you said to me. I'm still not over how you've been treating me. So I'm not about to move right in with you. And so here's how this is about to go. And at this moment, Lisa was laying down the law. So Lisa said, I need for you to furnish me an apartment or somewhere to stay for the next couple of months, you know, and that's coming out of your budget. And I also need you to give me those $5,000 that you told me you were going to give me to buy me a car. I need a car. And so Stan was like, well, first of all, you're being a little demanding. And second of all, I don't think it's a good idea for you to purchase a car right now because you don't have a license. And Lisa said, you let me fuck this cow. You just drink the milk. Like, if a license is the least of my worries, then I'm actually having a good day. Okay? You know, and as they're talking about this, the damn blue lights come on behind them. And I said, oh, okay. So this is the scene that we kept seeing in the commercials where Stan and Lisa get pulled over. Long story short, Stan Ass was driving around with a busted tail light, and he also ran a red light. Okay, so those were the two reasons that the cops had pulled his ass over. All right, and because, well, now Stan say because he has such a perfect record, a perfect driving record, that the cop let him go with just a warning. Okay, pay attention at the red light and get your tail light fixed. Okay, so yeah, they go on, and so he just feels like that's even more of a prominent reason to, you know, a more validity to the conversation that he was just having with Lisa. And he's like, you know, see, this is what I'm saying right here, because I have my license and I have a perfect driving record, you know what I'm saying? So when I run into things like this and things happen, I don't go to jail, you know what I'm saying? I get a warning and I keep it pushing. And I'm just kind of like, okay, Stan, let me tell you something. Yes, you have a valid point. Lisa don't need to be out here, as she already got a record. The last thing you need to be doing is out here driving without a license. I get that. But at the same time, you got to be a man of your word. If you told this lady you was going to purchase her a car, then purchase her a car. If she go back to jail, oh well, $5,000 ain't going to kill you. And who knows if the car is even going to cost that much. So, it's just like, hell, Lisa is a grown woman. She going to do what she want to do regardless. So, you know, if she want to bump her head, let her bump her head. You said you was going to buy her a car, buy her a car. All right. Anyway, they get to the house, and soon as they get in there, it's like all hell keeps breaking loose. So I don't know if the ghost of Stan's wife is just running through that house or what's going on. But it's like soon as them two get in that house, shit goes awry. Okay. So Stan immediately catches an attitude because Lisa does not want to go upstairs and get butt booty ball naked. And so he starts telling her that, you know, you haven't been doing nothing but making demands ever since the moment that you got out, and this is not the girl that I met. And, you know, Stan just feels like she's doing the most. And I think that the whole miscommunication started from when she was trying to explain her situation with the kids and he wasn't having no understanding. So once she figured out that he could give a fuck less about what she has going on outside of just herself, then that's when she kind of took on this, you know, F you type of attitude. You know what I'm saying? She kind of took on the role of, you know, I was trying to be serious and really have something with you, but since you're such an asshole, I'm gonna treat you as such. Now I'm a Trick and you're a John. That's what this situation is. You know what I'm saying? We met on a hoe site. I'm about to get on some hoe shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm just take you for what you got, and we're gonna let that be the reason, because I'm done trying to be here for you for real, for real. So that's where they're at. And so in Stan fashion, Stan starts talking to her crazy, and Lisa's like, y'all see this? Do y'all see this? And then so she ran up on him at one point, and he backed up and he was like, don't you do it, don't you do it. And I'm like, I'm looking like, oh, like Stan, has she clocked you a couple of times in the past? But Lisa said, you know, she had no intentions of about the hit Stan. Now, you know what I'm saying? She said it did run across her mind, but she wasn't about to hit him, not in front of us anyway. So, because she knew he was going to call 911. But anyway, so long story short, they get into it. He puts her ass out, and then he shuts the door, gathers all her things, which was one garbage bag, and it looked like a couple of folders, and he threw that shit out on the porch, and he told her to have a great life. So Lisa grabbed her things, and she started heading down the road in the subdivision with her heels on. So, you know, she's walking through this man's neighborhood still looking like a baby giraffe, like she was when she walked in the restaurant. And I said, okay, as the damn world turns. Y'all, that was Stan and Lisa. Courtney and Josh. I'm about to make this thing real short, because the whole Courtney and Josh scene was just, it was stupid to me. Anyway, the long and the short of it is that Courtney went wedding dress shopping, because y'all remember they're married, but they had what was called a double proxy marriage, which means that neither one of them were actually present at the time of the wedding. They had two strangers, I'm assuming, stand in for them. I didn't even know that this was a real thing and that this was something that you could do, but whatever. So at this point, she wants to have a real wedding. Okay, now y'all remember that a couple of weeks ago, Josh sat at the dining room table. They both were sitting there crying. Josh was talking about how great of a man he wants to be, and you know, he's ready to just get out and really make things happen, and blah 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 blah. And they're just gonna be this fairy tale family, okay? Because she done already risked so much for him that, you know, he's just completely appreciative. So Audra, she's at the wedding dress shop picking out her dress or whatever, and Audra, the friend that drove her to pick Josh up, she's back over there at the wedding dress shop with her, and she's telling Audra that you know, she's a little frustrated with Josh, and she's frustrated with him because he hasn't been doing anything but sitting on the couch playing video games day in and day out. And so Audra was like, okay, so you know, what's going on in the bedroom? And she said it's nothing going on in the bedroom. They've had sex a couple of times, and you know, he doesn't really initiate it, and when she initiates the sex, he turns it down because he said he's tired. So I don't know what's going on with Josh, and I'm not going to throw out any type of assumptions just because he is not being the most affectionate with her, because I do understand that when men, women, anybody, when anybody has been incarcerated for a long period of time, people get acclimated back to the real world in all different type of ways. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of times us people that's in the free world and we've never lived that life, we expect for them to just come home and live like we live and think like we think. Like, you know, you're able to do whatever you want to do now. So, you know, you should want to be all over me all day. Like, you know, I should be pushing you away. I should be getting tired of you. Like, I shouldn't have to be begging you for this, because this is something that you haven't had in a long ass time. But, you know, people get acclimated back to the real world in all different type of ways. So it may not necessarily mean that he's not attracted to her, that he's not horny. It doesn't mean none of that. This just could be part of him getting acclimated back into the real world. So I'm not gonna give Josh too much right now, but it does look bad, Josh. That looks really bad, because you are only able to be in that house with Courtney for I hope I ain't been calling him Jeff. His name is Josh. But anyway, Josh, you're only in that house with Courtney for 14 days. So I definitely understand where Courtney's frustration is coming from. Like, bruh, we only literally have 2 weeks together. So you would think that we're at least having sex once a day, and that's just at a minimum. We should at least be having sex once a day. We should definitely be spending a lot of quality time with each other, up under each other, getting to know each other as much as possible, doing as many activities together as we can. Because I think Josh is allowed to go outside of the house for a little while, so y'all can be going out and doing anything, even if it's just y'all you know, walking around and getting some exercise together. Y'all don't have to be doing anything that costs money. So it's just a lot that you could be doing besides letting those dogs sit up under you and playing video games. It's a whole lot more that could be done. So I understand both sides. I understand Josh is still getting acclimated, and I understand that Courtney is frustrated because, you know, he's getting ready to leave in a couple days. But Josh also feels like he doesn't have to just be going ahead and doing all of the manly duties around the house because of the fact that he is getting ready to leave. He's getting ready to go live with one of his other family members, and so he's already gonna have to be doing everything that he needs to do over there. So he don't feel like he should have to do that over at Courtney's house. And if that's your real way of thinking, then you're gonna have a hard time in life, and you're gonna have a hard time having a successful relationship, because just because you're leaving doesn't mean that you don't need to be doing all that you know, being all that you can be in the army of Courtney's house. Like, that's just kind of not making sense to me. But anyway, y'all, I told y'all their scene was really short for this week, and it kind of irritated me a little bit. So I'm done talking about Courtney and Josh, because we're ready to talk about the highlight of this show, of tonight's show, because I told y'all this whole particular episode was real, it was on the slope for me. You know, it really didn't give a whole bunch, and y'all, I was sitting there nodding off, and this is my shit. So for me to be nodding off, y'all definitely didn't, I mean, this was kind of like a filler episode because nobody was doing much of nothing. But of course, it's always Deontay for the win. So let's talk about Deontay and Nicolle. Okay, y'all, Nicolle is back over at Deontay's house because it is finally time for Nicolle to meet Deontay's mom. Y'all remember Deontay already met Nicolle's mom. Now it's time to put the shoe on the other foot, and you about to meet his mama. Okay, so Deontay is in the kitchen being Chef Boyardee. I don't know what he was being, because it looked like he was cooking some type of a pot roast or something, but he done put Nicolle in charge of making everybody a salad. And it was the little pre-made salad, the salad that come in a bag, and I'm okay with that because I actually eat that. But let me tell you what I wasn't okay with. I wasn't okay with the fact that, Nicolle, we did not see you wash your hands. That was strike one. You digging in them bell peppers, the same nail, with them same nails that you dig in your nose with, the same nails that you wipe your cooch with, the same nails that you dig your drawers out of your ass with. Like, you was digging the seeds out of the bell pepper with them nails. And I said at that, and it was at that moment when I said, I hope nobody eats their salad. Please, please, in the name, I hope nobody eats their salad, okay? But anyway, she was digging them seeds out of the bell pepper with them nails. That was strike number 2. And then she put the cheese on the salad, and then she started sucking that cheese out from under them nails. And I said, take me to the king. I don't have much to bring. Because, listen, if I would have came over, ate that salad, and then looked back at that episode, Nicolle, I would have pulled up at your house and you would have had to shoot me my onesies.
All it take to make some boy wipe up hurt and drop down flat.
You was just gonna have to shoot me my one, because I would never prepare anybody else's food without gloves or, you know, without some type of utensil. Like, I'm not gonna put my bare hands on food that somebody else has to eat. Like, I'm barely gonna use my hands for some food that I'm about to eat, because that's just how big of a germaphobe I am. Like, when it comes to stuff like that, like, it's too much weird stuff that goes on with humans and food, okay? Like, you know, let's just be real. Us humans are just naturally germy people. Like, we carry a lot of germs on us that we have no control over. So it's like, with you touching this food like this, it really sent my anxiety to another level. But anyway, that's not even the highlight of this scene, okay? So you know, they're fixing food, and as they're having a conversation, Nicolle brings up the fact that she has not forgotten about this boob job that Deontay promised to pay for. So she goes in her purse, because I don't even think she was done making the salad when she went to digging in her purse, because that's the moment when she pulled out the paperwork for the boob job. That's when she had to suck all in her fingernails and get the cheese out so that she could read the paperwork correctly. And I said, why? Anyway, so she said that the boob job is going to cost $6,000. She was like, you know, I actually found a cheaper procedure. Like, you know, this only cost $6,000. I really thought it was going to cost around $8,000. And I was like, oh, okay, I definitely thought it was way more than $8,000, because I done told y'all, whenever I started talking about the boob job, I said $10,000, $20,000. So that show you what I know about a boob job. But anyway, she said that it was going to cost 6 racks, and he said, well, where am I going to get that from? And she said, I don't know where you're going to get the money from, because all I know is you promised me that you would pay for my boob job. And he said, yeah, but that was before I knew that it cost that kind of money. So, like, what do you want me to do? You want me to work all kind of overtime? You want me to not pay my bills? You want me to not pay my rent? Like, and she just kind of looked at him like, yeah, that'd be great if you could do that so that you can go ahead and pay for this boob job. And he said, and so she was like, are you willing to do that? And he was like, yeah, you know, for you, it's whatever it is to make you happy. And she was like, yes, that makes me very happy. And I said, wow. Deontay, not only are you sucker of the year, but Nicolle, you are a real live bitch for that shit. Like, I understand that you on your pimping, and I do respect pimping, but it's just like, damn, you ain't got no shame in your game. So anyway, they move on past that particular conversation, because Nicolle says that she just remembered that it's Tia's birthday today. So I'm like, okay. And Deontay was like, the Tia that you used to date. And she was like, yeah. So I'm just gonna step out the kitchen for a second and go tell her happy birthday. So she grabbed her phone. She goes in Deontay's bedroom so that she can talk to Tia. But Deontay was like, the fuck? If you about to go have a private conversation in my house where I pay the bills at, like, I'm about to be in on this conversation too. And so he followed her, and she was like, excuse me, like, can I have a moment to talk by myself? And he was like, man, shit, not really, but whatever. I guess I'm going to let you have your little moment or whatever. So I don't remember if she shut the door or if he just had, you know, stepped away from the bedroom. But either way it went, she got to going with Tia. So she's on the phone. She talking to Tia. And she's like, girl, you know, I just called to talk to you to let you know that I'm about to meet his mom. But, like, I really don't want to. I don't want to meet his mom. Like, can you come and get me? Like, please come get me out of this. I don't want to be here. And so then she was like, girl, and to top matters off, I done found this weird ass sex toy that he's got hidden under his bed. Like, bitch, can you believe that? Like, first of all, I've already told him to get rid of this weird ass thing. And it's just, I don't know. It's like the toy is weird. He's weird. And I don't want to be here. So at this point, she's about wrapping up the conversation. And he is sitting out here fuming, y'all. He's on the other side of this door about to lose his shit, right? So soon as she gets off the phone, he's like, I heard everything you said. And she was like, okay. He was like, so what I'm saying is, you're not gonna be sitting up here playing me in my face. Like, I'm not even going for that. You just sitting up here, you using me. You talking about you don't want to be here. You don't want to meet my mama. Yeah, I heard all that. And y'all, I'm thinking that this is the point where Nicolle is like, bitch, you're cold busted. Like, it's no way that you're getting up out of this. And Nicolle looked at him and said, first of all, shut the fuck up. And I said, what? She said, first of all, quit all that yelling. All that yelling is unnecessary. And second of all, it wasn't even like that. What I'm just saying is, I'm just nervous. I'm nervous to meet your mom. You know I'm not sitting here trying to play you. Like, I'm here for you. Like, you already know everything you do for me, I appreciate it. So stop acting like that. And he was like, no, but I'm saying, like, if it's just all about the money, like, you can go. Like, you can bounce. You can get up out of here. And I'm like, you know what? You tricked me the first time back at the restaurant, Deontay, making me feel like, you know what I'm saying, you was really just about to put Nicolle in her place. But it seems like every time you get riled up, she could give a damn less. She could give a damn less about what you are upset about. And so, you know, she just shuts you down. They go off into the kitchen. They both need a beer. They're drinking a beer. And so he's like, what do we do to fix this from here? And she's like, you know, first of all, we're going to stop arguing because I done told you. When you get to yelling and doing all of that, I'm not doing it with you. So that's first of all. But second of all, you just need to trust the process that I love you. Then mama shows up, okay? So when mama shows up, they both still slick, have an attitude with each other, but they're willing to play nice. And mama walks in and, you know, she gives Nicolle a up and down. And as soon as she gets in that confessional, she said, yeah, I mean, I knew it before I even got here. The typical stripper looking white girl, you know, just the blondes that he loves to go for. Like, here we go again. And I said, all right, this is about to be a mess. This is about to be a damn mess. So they sit down at the table. They're getting acquainted and everything. And it seems to be going smooth for a little while. And then Deontay looks over at his mama. And he can kind of sense that she's really not feeling Nicolle like that. So he decides that he wants to get some big dick energy with his mama. And he said, look, Mom, if you can't accept the woman that I choose to be with, then you can't accept me. And mama looked him, let me tell you something. If looks could kill, Deontay would no longer be with us, because mama looked him square in his eyes and she said, I know you ain't coming at me like that. I know you ain't coming to me like that, because you don't tell me who I can't accept and not accept. If I don't want to accept her, I don't have to. And then Nicolle said, well, you know, I do understand that you're probably looking at me crazy because of his last situation with this Chelsea girl, but I'm just here to assure you that that's not me. I'm not that girl. Yes, I have asked Deontay for money in the past, but it was nowhere near to the extreme that girl was asking him. Like, so that's just first of all. Second of all, I'm not going anywhere. And I said, oh. But anyway, she said, second of all, I'm not going anywhere. And I do love your son. Like, I just want to let you know that. And so it was at that point when mama was like, okay, well, if you love him, then tell me exactly what it is that you love about him. And she said, Well, let's see. I love that he is, and I said, okay, if anybody got to think about it like that, then this ain't about to be right. This ain't about to be genuine. But so anyway, she mustered out something real quick. She was like, I love how big of a gentleman your son is. And I love how generous he is. And mama was like, okay, that's very surface level. These are things I already know about my son because I raised him to be a gentleman. So yeah, I know I did my part as a mom. So tell me something else. Tell me something that I really don't know of what makes him so loving. And she was stumped. Nicolle was stumped at that point. Some of that, okay, I'm fresh out. So at this point, Deontay decided that he wanted to insert himself in the conversation. And he was like, yeah, well, sometimes I just be kind of wondering about this love because, she been out for a week now and I still sleep in the bed by myself. And his mama was like, what? Stop the bus. Stop. This is when mama had to stop the bus and get on off. Because she was like, let me break this down. And it was at this moment that mama stopped playing nice for the cameras and she stopped playing nice for Miss Nicolle. She said, let me tell you something. Us women want sex just as much as men do. So if you've been locked up for the past 4 years, you claim you haven't been with anybody, you have a solid man to come home to, and he's willing and ready, and you mean to tell me that you're not willing and ready? And Nicolle was like, well, yeah, like I haven't been touched in a very long time and I'm just uncomfortable. Like I just keep trying to explain to Deontay that I'm just not ready. And mama said, I'm not going for that. I think you are ready and I think you are comfortable. I think that you're just not comfortable with him. And then they went to a confessional where Nicolle pretty much admitted what mama had just said. And she said that, when she was locked up, she had all intentions of coming home and putting it down on Deontay. But it just seems like every microsecond, every waking minute, every conversation, no matter what the situation is, Deontay is bringing up sex, sex, sex. Like Deontay cannot think about anything except for having him some sex with Nicolle. And so he's talked about it so much at this point that it has completely turned her off. It has dried up her river, and every time she looks at Deontay, all she pretty much sees is money and disgust. Because, you're just so thirsty for the puss. And I understand that. I get that. I have been in situations like that where, that's all that the man can think about. That's all he can talk about. It's like, sir, I am way more than a vagina. Like, if you just really take your time to peel these layers back, you'll understand that it's some really great qualities to me. And the vagina is pretty much just the cherry on top. You know what I'm saying? Once you get to the vagina, it's like that's the center of the Tootsie Roll Pop. And it's like, that's like, wow. And so that's where Nicolle is sitting at with Deontay, and I actually believe that. I can go for that. But at the same time, Nicolle, I do also feel like you still just, a part of you just didn't want to do anything with him anyway. I think that, you are attracted to a certain type of swag that Deontay does not possess. And that's okay. And that's okay. But you can't just be real with him and say that. So that's what makes you look like such a bitch. And then Deontay is completely oblivious to everything that you're doing and saying. So that makes him look like a bitch. And, so I don't know. Yeah, let's just move on. So now the dinner is over and Deontay is getting ready to take Nicolle back home. And the first thing that flies out this fool mouth is he looks over at her and he was like, I think my mom really likes you. And it was at that moment, I think me, Nicole, and the rest of the world did the meme that looked like this. Because it's like, how? Deontay, how? That's the only question I have for you. How? Anyway, they're driving home. He gets her home and he's getting ready to jump out and walk her up to the porch like he normally does. He's getting ready to walk her to the door, and she said, no, you don't have to do that. And he was like, why? I always do that. And she was like, because I don't want you to walk me up to the door, because I don't want the dogs to wake up and they're going to be doing all this barking, which is going to wake my mom up. Like, it's late. It's no need in doing all that. Like, you know, just give me some kisses and I'm going to just go on about my business. So he was like, okay. So he gave her a kiss. She jumps out. She gets out in the rain, and instead of going in the house, she goes to sit on the porch. So I'm guessing that is how that works. When anytime the dogs hear any type of activity going on at the door, of course they're gonna bark, which will wake up her mom, which will let her mom know that she's home. Okay. And but Nicole is sitting out on this porch. And so that raised a red flag for Deontay. He's like, that's something that she never does. Like, something is telling me, like, brother, turn it around. Brother, turn it around. So he turns around and he parks down the street and cuts his lights off like a true stalker. Okay. And it paid off, because a few minutes later, this car pulls up and picks her up, and he comes flying up the road so that he can figure out who this is in this car. But she's getting in the back seat. So, you know, from the way that it's looking like this is a Lyft or a Uber, one of the two. And so she can't even get in the car good, because he done rolled his window down and he was like, hey Nicole, what you doing? And she's like, Deontay. And that is the cliffhanger for next week. So hopefully we'll figure out where the hell Nicole is going, because she's obviously not going in the house. So I'm sure she'll still end up weaseling her way out of this, just saying she was about to go to the store and get a pack of cigarettes or some dumbass shit. But yeah, that was it for this week's episode of Love After Lockup. Please make sure that you come back next week and check out my next review for this show. And if you are kind of feeling this look that I have going on with my hair, these are crochets, y'all. I tried crochets for the first time in my whole life, and I actually did a video of it because I put some crochets in my daughter's hair. So that video is going to be dropping this Tuesday. So come back to my channel between Tuesday and Wednesday if you are interested in hair videos. This will be my first hair tutorial. Lord have mercy. So anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know that, but you already know I want you to be happy, be healthy, be safe. This is your girl P Hope, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye guys.